top economist in China vanishes after he is speaking out against the economy of not saying such positive things about China, right? So several people within China have now vanished from the internet when it comes to economists and journalists for recent weeks, raising concerns that Beijing is stepping up its censorship efforts as it tries to put a positive spin on struggling economy. And so what does this really mean, obviously, right? When you look at China, for years they've been saying how they're going to start dominating the economic when it comes to the field across different countries. They show these buildings that they've built that are vacant and are now falling down. And what they were sharing in one of the people who are they disappeared, is that Beijing Normal University showing that some of 964 million Chinese people, representing roughly 70% of the population, were living on a monthly income less than 2,000 won, equivalent to about $280 a month.
Wow.
And so it's saying how drastically poor the China population is, right? And they went to go say a new era of China, saying that they're opening up the economy, it's becoming more prosperous, but nothing has really changed. And this is what the Economist and they were saying since Mao Zedong, when 60 to 80 million people died underneath the communist regime at that time. Not much has changed, although they want you not to believe your own eyes. And what they say is that they're doing better. They want the public to believe that. And if you say anything differently, obviously they're penalizing that. And so for you guys, we're hearing a lot of, capitalism doesn't work, right? And in our economy, they're saying capitalism doesn't work, but if anything has changed in the U.S. economy, it's that it's become more and more communist and socialist because it's been more and more run by the government, less from the individual. So with everything going on from what we're seeing in China, from what we're seeing today, what are the steps that we have to do to cut through the noise, cut through the propaganda? Because we're also being censored. We see people like Trump. Obviously, they're trying to indict him. They're trying to put him in jail when they speak of the negative. And during the debate, they asked Kamala Harris about the growing when it comes to the cost of groceries. And she goes, well, I grew up in a middle-class family.
That's her go-to.
They do everything but address what the real issues are. So I want to just leave it open to you with what we're seeing in China, the similarities to today, and what do we do about it?
Well, so my biggest fear, honestly, is that if the worst case scenario is if Trump loses and we lose the majority in the House, then I genuinely think they could extend the Supreme Court, and then that's when we're really in trouble because I don't think they could censor us if they have. Like, we're winning right now in terms of information battle. That's why they're freaking out about the disinformation thing. So if they were to get a majority in the House and add a seat to the Supreme Court and balance it out there, then they could actually censor us. But if we at least keep the House, then I don't think they'll win the censorship battle because they need to change the law to have any type of impact on that. But China's going to be kind of falling apart soon. Like, the youth unemployment rate's 25% right now, and they have outright deflation. It's a cascading thing. They're a paper tiger.
Yeah, go ahead, Connor.
Look at Harris's whole thing about the grocery store price gouging, as if every grocery store in the country in 2020 just decided to jack up the cost of their
1% profit margins.
Yeah. That's not happening. The reason everything is more expensive is because our inflation is out of control. The Biden-Harris administration has tanked our economy, and people can't afford the basic things they need anymore. And that's directly on her. So for her to try to say, oh, I'm going to fix it as soon as I'm in office, you're in office now. But of course, if your goal is to make it so people can afford that, so you can incentivize everyone having the EBT food stamps, so you can post videos of yourself dancing as you leech off society, then they're doing just fine. But this is exactly the point. They are trying to implement these socialist, soft communist policies under the guise of, just be kind to everybody. Just level the playing field. It's never worked. I don't know how many times we have to talk about the body counts of Russia, China, Cambodia, all these other places. The thing you need to understand about all those places is that they're also really stupid. Pol Pot in Cambodia was a communist and then also a complete idiot. Mao Zedong was less of an idiot,
but a murderer.
But a murderer, and also still pretty stupid. His whole thing with the sparrows?
What was that?
Where he declared there were these 5 animals that were pests that they wanted to exterminate, one of them being sparrows.
Jeez.
So they had people go around, kill every sparrow they could find, and they were throwing rocks at them, knocking them out of trees. They would chase them off by banging pots and pans until the birds couldn't land anywhere and they died of exhaustion and just fell out of the sky. Well, as soon as that was over, they realized that the sparrows were keeping the locusts in control, so their entire crop was wiped out and millions of people died because of the famine. So communists are stupid. And the fact that we have a Marxist like Kamala Harris who's about to run for office and could very realistically win is a little bit concerning for all of us who prefer to not starve to death.
And speaking of a quick story that I heard about Mao as well, Mao, and this is documented, that a kid stole, I think, a vegetable, an onion or something. So he grabbed him, killed the kid, and then made the father dig up the grave and bury his own son, and then kill the like. This guy, evil. And you asked the question. I think for information and stuff like that. And Pat has said this before. We need to have people on the right side put up some freaking money, create our own. Because I know that's one of the things that Pat's freaking trying to build here, where you could just get information that's not just one-sided. It's the fact. It's the truth. Because I'm telling you right now, that's the end game. When you hear AOC and you hear Hillary and you hear all these Obama, when you hear all these Biden, Kamala, they are trying to shut your ass up, limit anything that you could hear or even talk to anybody about to put your ass in jail. And the second one is to take your guns away. End game. Plain and simple. Once those two are gone, guys, it's a wrap.
Yep.
Finito. Go. And go look. Go to China. Look how they're living over there. Go to North Korea. Go to Cuba. Go to Venezuela. Guys, these are freaking exactly how they want it here. That's what they're doing over there. And this is just, mind you, they're slowly crawling and doing it. It's not like a big jump. It's not a big leap. They slowly start crawling, then they get caught, then they push back. But then they start right back at that point again. And it's happening, guys. I'm telling you, and I've said this before. If you don't think, if tomorrow we collectively at the United States, we're like, you know what? You're right, government. Limit everything that we're saying. And, oh, by the way, take our guns. They would take that shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And they would shut all of you up. Period.
100%. It would look just like China. No, before above everything, we need to protect Congress, and we need good people to run for Congress. Because I don't care how much stuff we build, how much cool stuff we have, how much independent media we have. It's all irrelevant if we don't have good people in Congress. Because they could wipe that shit out in a second.
But of course, for now, to avoid pissing off our YouTube overlords who are also all communists, we're completely kidding about everything we've said.
Yeah.
That Economist did not disappear.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping does not look like Winnie the Pooh.
No.
Nothing happened in Tiananmen Square. And communism is fantastic. Good job.
Yeah, we love it. But I urge people, guys, this it's so crucial this November. Get your asses out there and freaking vote. I hate when people go, it's never been that important. This is no joke. This is it. 100%. This is it. And Brandon just laid it out pretty well. They're gonna put in some rules. Kamala said she's coming for the guns. They're gonna shut your ass up, guys. And I'm telling you, this is just for this 4 years. I'm really concerned because it's life after Trump. I've said that multiple times on this podcast. You nailed it, Brandon. People need to step up, guys, because who's going to be willing to take the freaking mantle and fight against these demons? Who's going to be willing to have their lives destroyed, their family's name destroyed, assassination attempt after assassination attempt, just to wake up the public, guys, to give us what we have and say what you want. Love him or hate him, I don't give a damn. It's what the guy stands for is freedom and America. And I hope we have some people that are standing up, guys, on deck. I know we have Vivek and we have some of these people, but the number it's few and far between.
It's not difficult to run for Congress. I mean, we need 500 good people, and we have an immense amount of people that could do it.
I think we do.
That's what I was going to say, too. It's, yes, 100% it's voting for the president, but it's also, you have to figure out your local election.
1,000%. Brandon's always said that.
Yeah, you have to pay attention because they have more power than you think. We talk more about the president, but they're the ones passing the legislation, and I think Patrick talks a lot about it, and obviously I work with Bet David Consulting. We need individuals like entrepreneurs who have wealth, who have money, to have influence, because otherwise they're going to demonize grocery store owners that it's their fault that prices are going up, when in reality it's not the business owner. They're reacting to the policies that are put into place. They're just trying to survive and make a living. But we need business owners who have influence. We need people who have influence to speak up. This is not the time to stay silent. Like, if you have something to say, Jordan Peterson said, and if you don't say it, you're a slave. So this is the time. There's no time such as this, but pay attention, be active, be enthusiastic, get your friends, get your family, share what you have to say, vote for the president, but also for everything else around you in school boards, in Congress, in local elections. Be present. this is the time.
It's essential that normal people step up and help take the country back for what it's supposed to be, because we used to have this idea that it was about the normal citizens, and we didn't have this elite class that was supposed to rule over us, and that's a modern invention that is completely taking control. Quick shout out to Marty O'Donnell, who's running for Congress in Nevada. He's a Republican. He's the composer for the Halo video games. He did the soundtrack to it.
What?
And then, so the guy who made one of the best video game soundtracks of all time decided, I'm gonna run for Congress and be super based.
Oh,
so we wish him the best of luck.
God bless him.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Shout out. And Rob, what do
Thank
you
you
think
for
about
high
this
charity.
in closing before we bounce?
I just have joy, and joy is going to get me through it. And if you don't have joy, then you're not going to get through it.
You announced last week,
Is
Rob.
that misinformation?
You announced last week you're going to run for Congress in a few years.
Yes, based on joy.
So you're one step in the right direction.
Correct.
Me as well.
Joy
So,
is the way
two
to
people
go,
here
and
run for
not being
Congress.
weird.
I love it.
Until
Not
they
being
dig up
weird.
your Jay Varma comments.
No sniffing children.
Yeah.